Sorry for the delay. We've had some technical issues here. My name's Elizabeth, and I'm the Health and Fitness Coordinator in Bedford, and we're going to be doing a 30-minute Stretch Express today. So just moving through a nice stretching flow. All you need is a yoga mat and maybe some water if you want, but this won't be too strenuous or anything. I'm just going to set up my timer here, and then we can get started. Alrighty. So starting seated on the mat, you're just going to come down into a nice seated cross-legged position. We're going to start with a dynamic seated twist. You're going to raise your arms overhead, and then you're going to twist to the right, place your right hand down on the ground, and then place your left hand on your right knee. Send your gaze back over your right shoulder, towards the back of the room, towards the ground. And we're going to hold here for maybe 30-ish seconds in total. Throughout today's stretching routine, I won't be talking as much as if we were doing a full workout because we're going to be doing a lot of just holding stretches. But I'll cue you as much as possible and just give you a heads up when we're gonna switch sides and rest out of the stretches. All right, back to neutral. I'm gonna twist to the other side. So first raise your arms overhead and then twist to the left. Place that right hand on your left knee. Your left hand is placed behind you, and you're just sending your gaze over your left shoulder, looking towards the ground. Thinking about growing really tall through the crown of your head here. And as you inhale, think about lengthening your spine. As you exhale, think about just nudging into that twist a little bit further if you can. Just holding here. You feel a nice stretch through your side body here and your right side. All right, and release. I'm going to come back to neutral here, and then from here we are going to do a nice chest opening stretch. So you're going to clasp your hands behind your back and then stretch them back away from your body, opening up the chest, and just gently tilt your chin upwards a little bit here. We're just holding here, sitting up nice and tall once again. Breathing deeply. Doing good. Few more seconds here. And release. Okay, now let's stretch our side body. So sitting up nice and tall. You're going to place your left hand on your left knee. Extend that right arm overhead and just lean your torso over to the left. You're bringing your right arm over to the left of the room, and you can just look towards the ground here. We're going to hold here for a few moments. Feeling the stretch through your upper back on the sides. All right, let's bring that hand down to the ground and switch sides. So right hand on right knee, extend that left arm overhead. Tilt over to the right, bringing that left arm over towards the right wall. And just sending your gaze towards the ground. Holding here. Keep holding. And release. Great job. All right, let's get into tabletop now. So You're going to switch positions on the mat. Your hands are on the mat, just under your shoulder points. Your knees are under your hip points, and you've got a nice neutral spine, so flat back. And we're going to start with a cat-cow stretch. So you're going to dip your belly towards the ground, really open up that chest, looking up towards the sky. And then you're going to round the back up towards the ceiling, tucking the chin, holding here for a beat, and then back to that original pose, belly towards the ground, looking up towards the sky. And switch again. So back and belly going up towards the ceiling, tucking the chin into the chest. Let's do one more of each of those. Wonderful job. All right, meet me back into your flat back position. Just gonna fix my hair here. Okay, meet me back in tabletop flat back position. Now you're gonna keep your left hand planted on the mat as you sweep your right arm over, open it up. So you're reaching that right arm towards the sky, opening up the right side of your torso, looking up towards the sky here. And we're holding here. And release. We're going to switch sides. So I'm just going to switch positions on my mat so you can see me on my left side. So plant that right hand on the mat and then sweep the left arm open. My hair is everywhere. Sweep the left arm open overhead as you twist in the same direction as that arm. Lots of good twisting movements today. Working on that spinal mobility. We're holding here. And release. Okay, so back to flat back, tabletop position. And we're going to thread the needle. So from tabletop, you're going to take your left arm and sweep it in between the space between your thigh and your right arm, in the middle of your torso. Sweep it through there, away from your body, and then just bring your head down to the ground. So the left side of your head is resting on the ground. So you get a nice stretch here through the whole right side of your torso. We're going to rest here for a few nice, big, deep breaths. Really savoring this stretch. Maybe closing your eyes here. All right, coming back to that flat back. We're going to switch sides now. So from tabletop, you're going to plant your left hand on the mat, take your right hand and sweep it through between the space between, oh my gosh, I really need a headband here, the space between your left arm and your left thigh, left knee. Sweep it through, place your arm on the ground. The right side of your head is on the ground as well. We're just going to rest here. You might notice that one side is tighter than the other, and that's perfectly normal. You can just stretch a little bit longer on the tighter side if you feel like that might be useful. Taking some nice, big, deep breaths here. Closing your eyes, connecting with your body. All right, and unraveling. Gonna meet me here in a kneeling position. So sitting up, so you're resting on your knees and your toes here as your torso is up off the ground, butt is up off the ground, and we're going to do a couple of chest opening stretches here. So what we're going to do is bring your hands to the middle of your chest, and then you're going to open up your right arm to the right, and then look over to the right as you open that arm. Bring it back to the midline of your body, then open up the left arm wide to the left, looking over to that left hand, holding for a moment, and then back towards the midline of your body. So we're going to repeat this a handful of times on each side. When you're in that extended position with your arm, just hold there for maybe a second or two to really feel that stretch. Great job. Let's do one more on each side. Great job. All right. We're going to go into a downward dog in a moment. I'm just grabbing my hair elastic to put my hair up. I thought I could have my hair down for this video, but I was sorely mistaken, clearly. So bear with me just a moment. All righty. So from there, we are going to sit back on our feet, plant our hands on the ground, and then step our feet into a plank position. We're just going to hold here for a moment and then float back into downward dog. So you can pedal your feet here. So you're actively stretching through your arms, your shoulders, your legs. You're trying to kind of reach your belly towards your thighs, just moving in that direction. Let's really savor this stretch. All right, let's find stillness with those feet for a moment. And now we're going to pause in a little extended child's pose. So you're going to come back to tabletop, extend those knees the width of your mat, touch your toes together, and send your hips down and back towards your heels, resting your forehead on the mat. Arms are by your head, extended upwards on the mat, just laying on the mat though. And let's rest here for a few moments. Focusing on the breath, following the inhales and the exhales. All right, back to tabletop. We're going to go back into that downward facing dog. But this time, let's plant our left foot and we're going to raise our right leg behind up towards the sky. And then you're going to bring your right leg forward and plant it between your hands. So you're in a runner's lunge here. Then you're going to drop that left knee and raise up here. Raise your torso up. And you can drop that back foot if you're resting the top of your foot on the mat. All right. So from here, we're going to extend our arms overhead. And then you're going to, let's just sink a little bit deeper forward. So we're going to get a nice deep stretch through our left hip flexor here, the front of our left hip. So keep those arms extended up, sinking into that front leg, holding here for a few moments. And then we're going to straighten. So bring your arms down, and you can place your hands by your hip points, and you're going to straighten that front leg and bring your hips back, almost, as if you were going to sit down on the mat. But keeping a nice, like a little bend in that right leg, that right knee, I should say. But getting a really deep hamstring stretch here. So behind the back of your thigh, we're going to hold here. Great job. All right, and then sinking back forward into that front leg. You're going to place your hands on the ground, on the mat. Step that leg back. So you're just resting on your knees here. And we're going to take another quick pause in child's pose. So bringing those toes to touch, your knees are the width of your mat, and you're sinking your hips back, resting the head on the mat. Okay, one more big deep breath in and out here. And we'll meet back in downward dog. So hands planted on the mat, feet are on the mat. They don't have to be totally down. You can be on your toes if you need to, and you're pushing that front of your torso towards your thighs, towards the back of the room, actively stretching through the whole back body here. Now you're going to plant that right foot and bring that left foot to land in between your hands at the top of the mat. All right, so you're in that runner's lunge. Now you can drop that back knee. You're going to stand up here, not stand up, but bring your torso up. So you're upright, I should say. Sweep those arms overhead. And now let's lean into that front leg a little bit. So you get a deeper stretch through your right hip flexor here. Just till you feel that right hip really start to stretch. And then we're going to hold there. Great job. All right, now bringing those hands to your hips and then straightening out that front leg as you sink your hips back, and we start to fold over that front leg. Get a slight bend in the front leg. Stretching out the hamstrings here. You can rest your hands on the mat. We're going to hold here. Another couple seconds here. All right. Now we can come to a seated position on our mats. And we're going to have our legs extended out in front of us, down on the mat, sitting up nice and tall here. Sweep those arms overhead, and then forward fold over your legs, over the thighs here. You can have a little bit of a bend in those knees. Just going to let it all go here. Take a nice big deep breath in. And as you exhale, see if you can go engage through the stretch just a little bit deeper. All right, rolling back up. From here, you're going to take the soles of your feet together into a little bit of a butterfly pose here. So soles of your feet are touching. grabbing hold of your feet, you're sitting up tall, and you can either just hold the stretch here, or you can start to fold forward a little bit to get an even deeper stretch through the hips. We're going to hold here. So sitting for long periods of time can really cause the hips to tighten up. And obviously sitting for long periods of time can cause all sorts of postural issues, but that's a common one, the tight hips. And so it's a great opportunity now to take the time to open up those hips, get a nice stretch in, relieve the tension. All right, and sitting back up. Let's now extend your legs out forward again, but we're going to bring them out wide to either side. And we're going to forward fold in the middle of those legs. Holding here. Great job. All right, and rolling back up. Okay, next up, we've done a lot of hamstring and hip stretches. Let's get those quads now. So you're gonna stay seated on your mat, extend the legs out, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your right leg and then just bend that right leg. So you bring your right foot back behind you, kind of folding your calf somewhat underneath that right thigh, a little bit to the right side of it, but a little bit underneath, and your right foot is just laying on the ground. So we're going to just rest here and get a nice deep stretch through the front of your quad there, front of your thigh. So what you can do is take your hands behind you and just walk them out a little bit further away from your body to open up your chest here as well. Just gently lifting the chin up a little bit. And we're holding here. Okay, switch sides. I'm going to spin around here so you can see my other side. Sitting up nice and tall. Right leg is planted on the mat, and then you're going to fold that right calf behind you, bending that leg. And then you're going to walk those hands out away from your torso behind you. A little bit further if you'd like to get that chest opener at the same time. Nice proud chest here. And we're holding. Great job. All right, you can release. From here, we're going to get into a figure 4 stretch. And then we're going to transition back to standing, finish up this routine with some standing stretches. Okay, so laying back on the mat, your feet are planted on the mat as if you're going to go into a glute bridge. And then you're going to take your right leg, plant the outside of your left ankle on top of your left thigh, just below your knee. And then you can just hold the stretch here. You should feel a stretch through the outside of your right glute. Or if you'd like a deeper stretch, you can pick that left leg up, bring it towards your torso, grab hold of your hands, clasp your hands behind your left thigh and just hold here, or you can gently start to pull that thigh a little bit closer towards your chest until you feel a nice, deep but comfortable stretch in your right glute. We're going to hold here for a few cycles of deep breath. Closing your eyes and turning inward here. As you exhale, see if you're able to deepen that stretch anymore by bringing that thigh closer to you. If not, that's totally fine. But if it's available to you, that is an option. All right, you can unravel those legs now. Plant your feet back on the mat. We're going to switch sides. So your right foot is planted on the mat, picking up that left leg, resting the outside of the left ankle on top of your right thigh, just below the knee. Either just staying there if that stretch is deep enough for your left glute, or you can pick that right leg up, clasp your hands behind your right thigh, and either hold there or start to just gently pull your right leg towards your chest. As we hold this stretch. This side is definitely tighter for me. I don't think I'm able to push as deeply into the stretch here. So noted, I'll have to work on my flexibility on my left glute. Focusing on your breath. If you're able to deepen that stretch, just pushing a little bit more. All right, and putting those feet down. Now let's do a little happy baby stretch before we go back to standing. So this is always a fun stretch. You can kick those feet up towards the sky. Your knees are bent though, so your legs aren't fully straight. Your soles of your feet are facing the ceiling. Then you're gonna kind of bring your thighs a little bit closer to your chest here so you can grab hold of the outer edges of your feet. And then you're going to actively push through your hands and feet here. Just imagine you are literally a happy baby grabbing hold of your feet and kind of rolling from side to side, looking up to the ceiling. And yeah, just enjoying a little bit of movement here if it feels good to sway a little bit. If you want, you can try kind of bending one leg in and then extending one leg out a little bit. Just playing with the movement here, seeing what feels good in your body. All right, coming out of that posture, you can plant your feet back on the ground. We're going to roll up. We're going to very gradually transition back to standing. Don't want you to get a head rush or anything. So just take a moment here. Maybe take a nice big deep breath in. You can first come to kneeling. And then once you're ready, you can bring one foot up and then the other until you're standing. We're going to just stop, finish, I should say, this stretching flow with a couple of very quick standing stretches. So you're going to reach your arms overhead, sweep those arms overhead, grab hold of your hands overhead, and just really reach. Imagine you're being pulled up from the ceiling and looking up towards the sky, feeling alive. And then release those hands. And then we're going to do that one more time, but instead of arms overhead, we're just going to clasp them behind our backs, opening up that chest, pushing the hands down towards the ground, away from the torso, holding here, and then releasing. All right, that is today's stretching flow complete. Thank you for joining me today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with a nice 15-minute core workout. So if that sounds good to you, I'll see you there. Bye.